Alright, what's up, guys? It's time for another podcast, I guess. Really been trying to just upload a lot of videos, before the year ends, and as you can tell, I've been working hard to get these up. If everything is going well, this should be my third video of the week. And if you haven't seen the title of this video, today we're going to be doing a ranking video. Lil Weave's top 10 songs of all time. And a review on the second event of Crash Palace Boxing. Now, before I start, I just wanted to know again, I just wanted to say thank you guys again for tuning in. And you know what, every song on here is what I personally think is Lil Weave's best work. But even like some of these songs in the list, it was kind of hard to figure out like what would be it was like, I'd say a few, like the first three songs I'll mention right now, they are some of his better songs, but they aren't really great songs, if you know what I mean. They're still good, but they're not great. I'd say when I get to 7, from there it's they get like way better, because 8 through 10, they could still. They could have been, it would have been fine. This list could have easily been a top 5 Lil Weave songs, and that would have been a way better list, because there wouldn't be so many wonky like entries into this, Nevertheless, all these songs that I'm about to rank right now are still songs that I don't mind listening to from him. And let's start right in with number 10. It's the only song on here that isn't from his second album. And it's the only single that he currently, as the making of this video, has uploaded on his YouTube channel. And that's Santiago featuring his producer CJ Spades. It's more of a jokish type of song, I want to say, or a tribute to Santiago. It's really hard with these Lil Weave songs, to figure out what he's actually trying to do. Like, I can't tell if he's making a tribute or he's joking on him. But for what it is an entertaining song. Is it a song that I'd blast during a workout? No, but it is a song that is funny and entertaining listening to when you're with friends or something, like a normal song. They do this thing with their voices, both Lil Weave and CJ Spades. They do this weird thing with their voices where they kind of try to sound a little southern, and they kind of sound like that, And they're doing that the entire song. The entire song. I think they're referring to Santiago from Crash Palace Boxing, because the Santiago from Crash Palace Boxing kind of does talk a little like this, and he does sound like this, So number 10 is Santiago. Number 9 on this list is Soviet Bitches. Now, Soviet Bitches is a song on Lil Weave's second album, and as we can tell, the rest of these songs are on his second album, so let's just get that right out of the way. This one is featuring MC Doggo and Snail Heat, and everybody in this song is very they bring their game, they bring their A game to this song. I really liked the beat they used to it. It does sound Russian. It does sound Eastern European. And everything kind of flows really well in this song. So that's why it's my number 9. I do think it's better than Santiago because this is a song that I could listen to more often, you know. Number 8 is called Fake to My Death. And this one features Young Prince, MC Doggo, Snail Heat, and Lil Weave. And they are talking about. I know I mentioned a lot how Lil Weave talks about faking his death, but what kind of gets lost is that not only is he talking about it, but everybody else in the song is talking about it. They all talk about how they fake their death because, you know, life. And this is a very grimy song. I say that a lot about this song, but it's because it's true, you know. Like, it's very hard to. It's again, it sounds very undergroundish, very different from a lot of Lil Weave's other stuff, but it's right there at number 8. Number 7 is Cuba. Cuba is way better than I expected it to be when I saw the name on the album. And it's very fun, very funny as well. Lil Weave's lyrics are on point, and his hook is very catchy, you know. It feels like Lil Weave really wanted this song to be his better work, you know. And there it is at number 7. Number 6 is Death Ain't in Sight, the song, featuring Snail Heat, MC Doggo, Weave, and King Rufus. This song is very interesting. It's the whole album's name. This is Lil Weave talking about his death not being in sight. And again, this track is the first one that I think Lil Weave gets outclassed by his fellow rappers on here. Is he bad on it? No. He's still good. He's still there. He's still doing his stuff, you know. But he is not on par with everybody else. And I will say that again and again and again because I truly believe that he really did get outclassed in this one. He starts off doing his stuff. Then right after, Snail Heat comes in. And Snail Heat, I will admit, in the beginning, it is really hard to figure out what he's saying because it kind of sounds like this, you know? It sounds like this. And it sounds like that for, I want to say, a good 10 seconds. I could be wrong. It could be less. It could be more. A bit. I don't know. Maybe that was what they were going for because right when he becomes clear, like you can hear him clearly, the beat drops, and maybe that's what they were going for. He sounds very mumbly in the beginning, but then, boom, once the beat drops, you hear him clearly, and he's going off, and he's going in, and I really liked how they did that. Again, but I think it really would have helped Weave if him and Snail Heat kept going back and forth. I really believe that Weave choosing to do his lines separately hurt him more than he expected it to. Because every time I hear it, I always think, man, this song would have been ranked so much higher if him and Snail Heat had just gone back and forth. Because I know I'm bashing on Weave a lot when I talk about this track, but it could have also helped Snail Heat. Because the whole element of them just going one by one and then boom, Santiago and King Rufus come here, and they're the real stars of this track, and they just go back and forth, going off and teeing off on each other in this track, and it they flowed so well. It's amazing, you know. It and it's kind of like it leaves you wondering, like, why didn't we get more of that? That is what we should have got for the rest of the song, but they didn't do that. Now, of course, I wasn't there, so I don't know what they were trying to get out of us when they did that. Maybe they didn't intend it. Maybe they didn't intend for MC Doggo and King Rufus to outclass them or anything, but you know, still an overall great song. It's right here, number 6. It could have been number 4, or even it could have been up there, man. It really could have. But I just felt like this is a good song that could have been great. But, you know, I mean, it still made the top 6. So there's nothing much more to complain about, other than if they had done a few changes, it would have been better. Number 5 is COVID-19. Now, this is the first song that we've released that was on this album. Wait. I actually need to check that really quick, because I don't remember if that is the first song he released for this album. Or, yeah. So, he released Corona, which will be in another list if we ever get around to it. And then he released COVID-19. So, COVID-19 was the first good song on this album that he released. And it got everybody that listens to Weave hyped, because everybody was let down terribly after the monstrosity that Corona was. After, I don't know why he chose to release that one first. Maybe he knew it was the worst one, so he released it and got that one out of the way. But everybody was just let down after Corona. And then he released COVID-19, and everybody got hyped up again. COVID-19 was a great song. MC Dog was on there again. And they just do what they need to do, and they're talking about, you know, the stuff that's happening in the world right now with COVID-19 and all that stuff, you know? And they use a really cool beat, and nobody's like better than another. They're both on par. I love when everybody's on par with each other. I hate when somebody's noticeably better than the other rapper, because it makes me feel like, you know, why couldn't the other one be better? Or it starts out bringing flaws in a song that could have easily been fixed. But that's not really a problem for COVID, because they're both on par with each other, and it's a great song overall. COVID-19, number 5. Number 4 goes to Bars. Now, this one was released a little bit later in the album's release. Again, if I could print out a blueprint for Lil Weave to make every single one of his songs a hit, I would tell him to rap like how he did in Bars. Bars should be the standard for how he raps. Fast, loud, and his rhymes weren't even that bad either. They were pretty good. And his hook was great. His lyrics were great. He talks about a lot of stuff in it, right? And he's relatively by himself in this song. Like, there's no noticeable feature on this song. It's just him, and he's just teeing off. It's great. Why can't he understand, like, you know, maybe that's how he should be flowing like. That's how loud he should be, how fast he should be for every single one of them. Because if you haven't noticed, Lil Weave kind of bounces back and forth between different types of styles and flows and volumes, and I don't know if he's trying to figure out what works best for him, but this works best for him. Bars should be the blueprint for him every time he wants to make a song now. Fast, loud, and he seems very confident is what I want to say. He sounds very confident in the stuff he's saying too. There's so many songs where he sounds horrible, you know. He's not sounding that great. His volume's going up and down. His speed is going back and forth. And I know Lil Weave likes to implement a lot of errors in his stuff. Like, he'll keep a lot of his, like, bloopers, right? And that's great. But sometimes he'll put it into, like, the middle of his songs. I don't know if that's actually just because it was a line he couldn't get down without stuttering, or he had it there on purpose. In bars, he kind of has his errors at the end of the song, and that's great because it makes it sound kind of natural, I want to say, you know? This really is a blueprint for how he should be, and how he should be making songs, and how he should sound in his songs. Bars is number 4. Great song. Give it a listen to. By the way, from here on out, these are songs that you should give a listen to. Especially these top 3 ones. These top 3, if you listen to my other podcasts, you know what my top 3 are going to be. And believe you me when I tell you, it was a challenge to figure out what my top 3 Lil Weave songs were, because he'll have some of the worst songs imaginable, and now he'll make some of the better songs, you know, that he'll ever do. Like, I can't imagine him making another song that are better than these top 3. Bars, for how good it was, and I do believe that should be the standard for Lil Weave, Bars doesn't even come close to these 3 songs that I'm about to mention. Number 3, though, and it was tough and it was hard to make, but my number 3 top Lil Weave song is Florida Bitch. Florida Bitch. If Bars is the standard for how Lil Weave should sound by himself, Florida Bitch is the standard of what his features should be. It isn't like Death Ain't in Sight, where Lil Weave is clearly the weaker link in that song. Florida Bitch has everybody on par with each other. Lil Weave is right there. He's always there, and he's not like outclassed. He's not. He was there the entire time. Snail Heat is right there with him. Young Prince is right there with him. And MC Doggo is right there with him. They're all together, and it's an amazing song, an amazing hook. Just truly, it's great. That should be the standard for every group song that Weave does. My number 2, and this is now from making the top 3, it was a bit easy to figure out which my third one was gonna be. Florida Bitch is amazing, but I knew it would come down to these 2 for which one is my top 1 and 2. And after a lot of soul searching, wandering the earth, and all that stuff, I came down to my top 2, and man, it's hard. Again, you asked me this today, this is my list now. You ask me this tomorrow, it's probably gonna flip around. these two songs are really just on par with each other, and it flips. Truly, man. Okay, so my number 2 is I'ma Bang That Booty. Now, I know this is the feature song, you know? MC Doggo and Weave, they do a bunch of shit together. They do a lot of shit together. A lot of fucking songs. Seriously, that second album, it's hard to find a song without MC Doggo in. I think there's only like 5 songs without him in it. Seriously, and one of them's Corona. So, like, so it's really hard to find a song without MC Doggo in it in his album. But this is the song where Weave and MC Doggo, they just clicked, you know? Something happened there between them that they just sounded better than usual, and they sounded better than other songs. You know? Like the beat they use, the way they're doing it, what they're saying. I would have never thought I'ma Bang That Booty would be in my top 2 Lil Weave songs ever. Because, like I said, it could flip. It's my top Lil Weave song one day, and it's my second the other day. But I would have just never thought that I'ma Bang That Booty would be that high ranked in my list. But it is, because it was that good. It's a perfect combination of fun, lyricism, great beat, and back and forth quality that every Weave feature should have. And that's why it's so hard to put this one in my second, because it'll be in my first every now and then. And if you know me, you know what my top song is now. Well, if you've listened to my other videos, you know which one is my top song, and that is 701. 701 it's such a throwback song for me, because it does remind me of a different time period, because Lil Weave is also talking about kind of like, it's not blatantly obvious that he's talking about the past, but he is talking about the past, and he is dedicating kind of this song to a mentor and a bunch of his homies, and how they used to have a bunch of fun time in that class together. And I personally feel that, because I too have felt like that before, because I too had a mentor that me and my homies really like to be around, and I really feel the energy in this song. And the best part is Lil Weave didn't need anybody else on this track to make it a better song. This is one of the few songs where he's by himself in his album, and you know what? It's my top favorite song on the list right now. And that is my top 10 Lil Weave songs ranked. Let me know in the comments if you want to know, if you want me to do a top 10 worst Lil Weave songs that he's ever made. You see, this was hard because it's hard to find 10 amazing songs of Lil Weave, but it'll be easy for me to make another list. So let me know if you want me to do that in the comment section. Now, back to Crash stuff. We're going to be talking about the second event that happened in Crash Fast Boxing. Now, I do believe that this took place July 9th, 2017. No, July 8th, 2017. Yeah. There was only two cards on the mat, two matches on the card. Games versus Babies. There's the second bodies match in Crash, and Prez versus Bitch. The Prez versus Bitch in their debuts. Both that's a debut for Baby, Prez, and Bitch. Games now is the only returning one so far. So it opens up with Prez versus Bitch. It's one of the more well-known matches in Crash, just because of how, like, because it's such an odd match. It's hard to explain to you. It's very early on in Prez's career. His striking was never that bad. Alright? Even looking back at the video now, his striking was never that bad. Up until this point, between Spades, Padilla, Lopez, Games, none of their striking is bad. Even Baby's striking. None of them are bad per se. But you can tell that it's very early on in their careers. I take that back. Bitch's striking wasn't that great, I'm gonna be honest. But it's very early on in their career, so it's interesting seeing how they started and how very green they were to boxing. And this is actually surprising me. Prez and Bitch fight 3 times. This is the first match. This is surprisingly one of the more competitive matches. I think the second one was a bit more competitive, but this one still has a little bit of that. They go for 3 rounds. And again, it's interesting because the rounds, they transition to 2 rounds and then they transition to 3 rounds way later on. I mean, I fucked that up again. Alright, so they go for 3 rounds, Prez and Bitch. Each round lasts 1 minute, and that's weird because Crash then later makes the rounds 2 minutes. And then they transition again and they make it a 3-minute round. So it's very interesting seeing Crash develop as well, you know. They go from 3 1-minute rounds to 2 3-minute rounds, and then 3 2-minute rounds, and then they go from 3 3-minute rounds. So it's very interesting seeing them develop as a company as well. And then it ends with Games versus Baby. I don't know what was happening with Games at this time, but up until this point, he's only had 2 matches, which, it's fine because there's only been 2 events, but they were both bodies. And I can't tell if that was something he wanted to do or if that was something his opponents wanted to do. And again, another weird thing about Crash back then is this was just a 1-rounder, 1 minute. And that is so weird because nobody got finished, nobody got TKO'd, or even KO'd for that. They just simply stopped after 1 round, and there wasn't much violence to it. They were just kind of, they were punching themselves, you know. They were like hitting the body, but they weren't hitting them with bad punches, you know. It seems like they were just touching each other with gloves on, you know. Nothing too devastating. And the winner of that bodies match was Baby. And I kind of do see it because I see Games, he is getting pushed back a bit, and Baby is pouring on a bit more of the pressure. And I want to say Baby also outstrikes him, if you will. And there's not much to talk about there, Just they go bodies, baby kind of edges out games by a bit, but nothing too special there. And to add to the Prez versus Bitch thing, they went 3 rounds, but Bitch did get TKO'd. And again, this was way back then. Prez wasn't even called Prez on the in the match card. He was called Nugget. Anyways, Prez hits him with a mean uppercut, was it? I want to say it was an uppercut. But he just beats the hell out of him for a bit, and then boom, yeah, uppercut. It snaps Stick's head back, and that's the end. He gets him, TKOs him in the 3rd round. And that's it. That was the second event of Crash. Nothing too great. The Prez versus Bitch is a classic, though. So, yeah, that's the end of the second round. I mean, that's the end of the second event for Crash. I really keep fucking this up, guys. I'm sorry. Now, as a bonus, I'll review Nugget versus Games, their first match, just because I know it was a bad match. So, there's a rumor going around that this was a 5-round match, and they only cut it down to 1 round because it was horrible. And I don't know what the fuck they were doing, but seriously, when I watched this match, Games is there stretching and not doing shit for a while. And so is Nugget. I don't know why they were just standing there. They touch each other's gloves for a bit. Nugget kind of goes in for a bit, then does this weird transition, right? And it cuts to them, and they're standing again, and they're barely touching each other. They're joking around, they're talking, and I don't even mean like when fighters talk to each other during matches. I mean they are actually just having a conversation with each other. Like friends, They're having a conversation like friends. Camera pans away. Games is fucking around. Prez is sort of putting a bit of effort into it. So, I do see how he did edge out Games. Games is doing this weird dodging, right? It does work, but it's just fucking weird as hell, and then it ends, right? Nothing special to it. It's one of the worst Crash matches I have ever fucking seen. And that's it, That was the 3rd event for Crash. Just 1 match, and it was a 5-rounder, and it was so bad that they cut out 4 rounds. Yeah. Anyways, next time we'll be reviewing the 3rd event of Crash, which is one of the best events they ever held, which is, I want to say August 13th, 16th, August 19th. Yeah. Alright, so August 19th is one of my personal favorites as well. And just stay tuned for that. And thank you guys for tuning in again. This was a bit of a long one. Thanks for staying if you guys were here. And I will see you guys next time.